Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Sunday the 26th of January 2020. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I've got an update on the Gregory Scott Tarot, which is really good news. I'm going to receive, they're going to be out in September 2020, so a few more months to go, and I am only going to receive 200 decks that come to me personally, and I'm going to sell those on my website as signed autographed copies. The rest of the decks are going to be sold by Los Scarabeo in the way they usually do, for a really good price all over Europe, all over America, and I don't have anything to do with that. So they are handling that side of things, and I get 200 decks to sell myself. So it's a really good outcome. We're all very, very thrilled and very happy, and really the cards are done now. We're just putting the final little touches on them to make them all cohesive and gorgeous and beautiful. So I'm just so thrilled and grateful because it's been quite a long process now that we've been going through this. So Sunday the 26th, let's have a look at what this day is about. Okay, what's this? We've got the hermit, we've got something of swords, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, look at that, the tower. Again, we've had the tower so many times lately. What? Oh, there's a V there that you can barely see. Do you see it? It's the Five of Swords. And we had the Five of Swords recently as well. So the energy is very similar to the way it's been. The week has been about you taking action, sometimes taking action for yourself, being inspired, and then also doing things for other people. And it's been quite a sobering week for a lot of people. I think it's included conflict. The Five of Swords is like the harder version of the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is five boys playing around with sticks, and they're just seeing what their boundaries are, and there's minor conflict, but it's all fun and games. This is the Five of Swords. This is not fun and games and conflict. This crow has just killed these. They're fleeing for their lives, and he's picking up all the swords. So today, the sense of hardness, that ruthlessness, we had the Queen of Swords recently. That sense of, I think, therefore I am. I don't have any feeling, and I need to be number one. I need to be selfish and look after myself. That is still floating around the atmosphere. That sense of I have to look after myself and only be interested in myself, which obviously is no good. We don't compete with other people. We certainly don't put our hands on other people, let alone do anything like that. And we try and support people and communicate on an equal basis, but this whole, like, I have to make myself feel better by putting other people down. What you put out, you get back, remember? So he may feel big and powerful on the day, but what he puts out, he gets back. Those two have fled. They're coming back with about 3,000 of their buddies, and they're going to get him. What goes around comes around. So that's a big message for the day. Then is the hermit, and I think it's so pretty and so cute. It's Christmas, it's snowy, and we've got the crow with the lamp in the tree, almost like an ornament. And the hermit is a lovely, lovely card. It's the number 9. It's the 9th card of the major arcana. And in numerology, 9 is the last number. You get the master numbers afterwards, which carry extra weight, so 11 and 22. But going from 1, 2, 3, all the way through to 9, 9 is finality, completion, spirituality, shining the light onto yourself, the truth, being a hermit, being alone, having privacy, so that you can see your own light without anything covering it that would color your light, if you see what I mean. Any influences. So with your light without the title of accountant over it, and your light of being this amazing person and thinking for yourself and having your own ideas without the context of you being in a family situation where your parents are talking and you don't get to say anything. You just have to sit in the corner and listen while the grown-ups talk. The hermit is someone who can shine the light of truth and someone who's able to venture within themselves and to be brave and to find the stardom and the light within all the complicated mess. There's a fabulous picture that they had at the school I was at, and it was like this kind of, it said that most people think of success as an arrow like that. That's success, right? But the reality of success is more like this. You have an up, and then you have a little bit of down, then you go all the way the other way, then you mess up there, but it's a bit of a success anyway. You happen to win, then it goes all over the place, and that is the normal way success looks, okay? So if you are in that and it puts you off, that's the way the journey is. It's not just a straight line to success. And then finally we have the tower. And the tower, we've got poor old Big Ben being blown up there. Big Ben here in Britain being, I mean, it's very symbolic of Britain. You've got the British flag, you've got Big Ben, and you've got the Queen. Those are the most British things you can get. And the British Empire, and even just saying that makes you want to say it very grandly because it's so silly. The Great British Empire is being toppled, and all the little MPs, these crows, the people who run the institution, the government, they're all being blown up and they all go flying. And this is done in a politicized way. So if the whole administrative government system goes to pieces, then there's anarchy and there's disorder, because if this tower falls, it's the symbol of Britain, then Britain falls in a sense. So if the government falls, and I'm not saying this is anything to do with Brexit or anything, this is an example. The tower is a circumstance where something drastic happens to create space by destroying existing structures and foundations that are in your life. And in this case, it happens to be Big Ben, so there are other implications because I've chosen this deck today for a reason. And it's about the things that govern your life. So either literally the government, who tell us, well, we have to pay in taxes and the age of consent and all of those things. Then there are other governments in your life. There are your parents, there are your social norms and cultures, and there are a lot of things that govern who you are and what you have to do with your life and your responsibilities and what you feel you need to do. So for instance, let's say you don't get on with your dad very well, okay? But your dad is widowed, he's in ill health when he was younger and you were a child who was never there for you, he was running around. But now he's got no one and he's not coping. So you as a dutiful son feel like it's your role to take care of this man. And that's the government that you have in yourself. That's part of your value system. This is part of my family, my flesh and blood. Therefore, it is my duty to take care of. That may be a personal rule, a governing fundamental value and belief system that you have adopted in your life that today can really go, these thoughts that we have about life, they are so important because they create the big bends. Rather than seeing the tower explode and go to pieces, let's just think about all the towers in our lives that are there and shouldn't be. The tower of shame, the tower that says, oh, look at all those terrible things that you now need to make amends for and that you're ashamed of. The tower of being not good enough, where all the crows of bad voices live and work, and they say you're not good enough today because you don't look good, you're having a bad hair day, then another crow comes and tells you some other rubbish the next day. So the tower here is it's chaos because some sort of governing force in your life goes away and it becomes dissolved. It dissolves, it ceases to exist. And let's put these together now as a story. If you fight hard and if you fight unfairly, if you're ruthless with yourself, or if you have the wrong idea about yourself, let's use another example. Let's say I am a person who has never accepted their sexuality ever. So what they do is they have this faulty belief that my sexuality and being lesbian is a sin. Okay, so that is what I've been told. That's what my parents told me. You know, in growing up, anything to do with same sex was literally the devil. You know, we grew up in a very strict kind of home, for instance, and I have these feelings for other women, but I have decided I'm going to fight those feelings and I'm going to kill them and I'm going to strike them down every time they come up, and I'm going to be normal and I'm going to be straight. And I'm going to try and be with this man even though he repulses me, to see if he can fix me. You try all of that, you see the carnage in your life. Again, it's so much about, that's why it's been a little bit difficult recently, because we're being shown so much about ourselves. And we have such a great opportunity at the beginning of 2020 to change everything. It's been such a big start that it seemed almost anticlimactic. All of the people I know have kind of walked around in this zone of kind of really being in their heads and in themselves and looking to the future and what will be and what's happening. So everyone's kind of reflective. And today you have the warmth and the beautiful kind of Christmassy cheer and community and sense of belonging in yourself via the hermit, who says, wow, look, you never accepted your sexuality. That's why, look at all the damage that's been caused in your own life. Did I finish that example, by the way? You never accepted your sexuality. You didn't get rid of that faulty thought, and because of that your whole life was a disaster. Or you couldn't accept your sexuality. Today, with the help of the hermit and the warmth that he gives you, you're able to look at it and say, well, actually, why can't I accept this? It's because my parents were still Victorian and had these old beliefs, and it was hammered into me through home and at church. I recognize that now. And I'm now willing to take the plunge, the risk. I'm going to let that blow up. I'm going to let those beliefs blow up, and I'm not going to fight my urges anymore, and I'm going to give this a try. Or if the belief is I can never get into the Wall Street because I'm not clever enough to pass the exam that's required, you see today that is just your friend's voice from childhood or your lecturer's voice from university who said, you're no good, you're not good enough, you'll not make it. And it wasn't true. It was someone who wanted to hurt you that day. And today, with that warmth of looking within and recognizing yourself, you realize that you don't need the approval of that professor or that lecturer. And you realize that you have the mind for money, and you're going to destroy that foundation that person created in your mind, which says, I am not good enough to work on the stock exchange or in the city in London or wherever it may be. Another example is, it's the same thing. It's whatever we have accepted that is unacceptable within ourselves, the things that are accepted that shouldn't have been accepted, which are faulty and which don't make sense. All of those are going to be blown up today by, instead of using your harsh, ruthless energy to take it out on other people or yourself, you're warmly, kindly looking within yourself, you're nurturing yourself, and you're using that hard energy to really get rid of things that no longer serve you. So 2020 here, with this being the end of January, is really kind of it's been a gradual month of looking within and then taking that on board and deciding what to do about it practically. Today is another day where you really see something amazing in your life that can bring you warmth and light and joy and happiness and all of those wonderful feelings of, just think of Christmas or whatever your personal version of Christmas is, like your happy holiday, whether maybe it's Easter or it's Eid or whatever, your happy place where you're together with everyone. That can be achieved today by getting rid of something in your life that no longer serves you. So what am I going to let go of? I let go of the belief that I need to be in a relationship to be happy. Because I have had this belief, to be honest, I think I've overcome that, but let's just go with that. So I recognize I'm going to let go of the belief that I need someone to be in a relationship. I've had that belief, and the way it's manifested is that I've tried to be with people who are wrong for me, but because I was so desperate to be in a relationship. Today, I lovingly see that about myself, and I don't say, oh, weren't you stupid and sad and lonely, and how could you be with this person because of that, and then blame and shame. You don't do that. You're warm and kind to yourself, and you say, hey, it's fine. I don't need to be in a relationship to be happy and wonderful. And that structure, that cage you put yourself into, is blown up and you're liberated. And then you can be single and happy and free, and you can actually say, hey, wow, look at all the freedoms I'm afforded. This is wonderful. Rather than living some sort of dreary existence, which if you just flip a light switch, then it becomes wonderful. You know, the amazing thing is, you can go to Hawaii on holiday and you can say, oh, it's glorious, it's wonderful, and it can be wonderful. But someone else is going to go there and say, oh, the sand was advertised as yellow and it's white. This is dreadful, scandalous. And both people were in wonderful circumstances, and they could have really made the most of that holiday. The person who looks within and says, oh my God, okay, the sand isn't the color I expected, but please, let's not be so pedantic and split hairs and take the hotel down. Let's just have a nice time. The other person who's outraged goes to the reception and says, this is a dreadful hotel. How could I? And they leave and cut their holiday short because of the stupid color of the sand. So this can go both ways, okay? So really just look at what is genuinely harmful to you, and the things within you that come out as a result of those repressions and the behaviors themselves. You can look out and say, I don't want this anymore. It's a gift day. It's a day where you're being gifted something, and it's very warm, and you're able to go through the mess to get to this personal success arrow that I drew earlier. Have a great day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via the website. It's gregoryscott.com. You can order your reading with me on the website. I've forgotten the numbers. So we've got 5 and 9 is 14. 14 and 16 is 30. 3 is new beginnings and communication and the way you think. You think warmly about yourself. You're kind to yourself. If you beat yourself up, you use a feather, and you use that harsh, deliberate, decisive energy to say, I am attractive. I don't need to go out with people I don't like, for example, or whatever faulty thought or circumstances in your life that you've allowed to remain in your life. So have a wonderful, productive day. Like I said, if you would like a personal reading with me because you have questions about what direction you should go in, what structures should stay in your life, which ones shouldn't, what you ought to do for work, what your purpose is here on planet Earth, compatibility with other people, love, romance, what the future looks like, what the likelihood is of winning a civil suit, or when the best time is to travel, or where the best place is to live, what energy supports you. If you have any questions, get in touch via the website, please. If you like this video, hit subscribe, the big red YouTube button, and share the video online. Have a fabulous day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.